Hello back. Let's work a little bit more on the likeness of the portrait. So we have the eye here, with the upper eyelid. Here you have dark shadow that the hair brings or creates. Then you have a dark eyebrow, and then slightly darker forehead. With a brush, a bit lighter, because it was too dark. It just darkened it more than was needed. And here, a bit darker here. Take the tear duct, move the lower eyelid, and then you have the shadow of the hair, and then you have the eyebrow, the cheek area here. Then you have that goes straight closer to the nose, closer to the nose, closer to the nose, and then a little bit nose ridge, wide of the eye, white of the eye. So I soften it quite a lot. We have the pupil, which is actually quite light. We have the iris, hair, quite dark here, lighter right here, lighter also here, that area, light, hairline, white of the eye, bag under the eye. By emphasizing the bag under the eye, by darkening it a little bit, then you give more attention or a lighter tone to the white of the eye. And I need to work a little bit onto the white with a bit of putty rubber. Create more white of the eye. Then you have the reflected light, which is very, very weak because the eye is under the shadow, cast shadow of the hair. And you have that area here, which is quite light, between the eyebrow. Then you have forehead, a bit lighter as well. And I would go as far as to say the nose is wider. So the nose could go a little bit wider here and bring that up, that area, that nostril up. And that could be done by moving up with a darker shadow here. And you have nostril here. And highlight that a little bit more, which is the tip of the shadow of the nose. Then you have, again, tip of the nose, coming and working with those shadows here. Well, nose here, bone structure, a bit lighter than that. There. Clean the brush so I can have some light and pull out some light area with the brush. Here. and keep everything soft, especially the forehead. Yes, a darker tone, but soft. Create the softness of her face. Now uh, the cheek needs also to come a bit wider than what I've actually done here. So wider on that side. Bit more emphasis on the jaw. There. The ear, obviously, a bit lighter. And softer merge of the ear to the hair. There. So less black, less darker lines. Then you have lighter tonal value of the hair down here, which emphasizes the blondness of her hair. There. And obviously increasing and having that tip of the hair, which ends up here, and it ends up merging almost with the white of the background. A little bit more brownness here on the head, and keep it light, keep that area light. Now with my brush, I think I can get rid of these because they distract a little bit. And I can soften even the hair here, make it kind of, we said she looks to be brunette. So with the brush, that's an ordinary brush. Actually, it's not a bad brush, it's an Aquafin, which is basically a watercolor brush. And lighter here. And these, the end of the hair down here, there. The hair just stops there. And here, you can bring up the face softly, merge it and make it a little bit wider. And as I said earlier on, bring up the nostril here and tip of the nose. There. Bring it up a bit more because it looked a little bit too long. Rounder. And softly merge it with the flesh tone here. As you can see, the more brush, the watercolor brush I use, the softer it gets. Sorry for my dog who's drinking water at the moment. Okay, a little bit misty, so it gets, you weaken the line here, and that creates more of a darker line area here. Then with the charcoal dust, willow charcoal dust, I have here, and here as well. Again, willow charcoal dust. Push it this way. There. Now here, could go a little bit lighter, because it's a bit lighter, well, I've darkened it, but I can come back with putty rubber. Just bring a tiny bit of light. And by the way, I've noticed that this eye is just way too low where it is. It's just a little bit lower than that eye, but not as low as that. Wow, that eye is just too low. So get rid of that eye and redraw it. Okay, I know it looks with one eye, but it's temporarily. Also bring back the chin and the lip, both lips actually, further up. The highlight is right under the nose here. Push that up too. Make the lip a little bit wider, thicker. Also highlight of the nose. And that shadow, cast shadow of the hair which comes right from the left, and it casts a shadow right here. Now I need to bring back this cheek, which it looks a little bit odd at the moment. Bring back that soft touch here, and then you have this darker tone of value. A bit darker, and that is right under the eye. Also pull up a little bit of the chin, and that as well. There. And that line could go up. And let's bring back the eye. I can also lower that eye a little bit more. So it's a process which could be worked in both eyes. So lower that eye a little bit more and lift the other eye a bit more. Then tear duct right under or in between the nostril, straight line to the tear duct. Softer, 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 softer there. Maybe lighter here as well. cheek. And lose that edge with your fingers. It's soft with your fingers. Otherwise, the putty rubber is quite powerful here. So finger work. It's better. Here. Softer the nose, although I do think that the nose could easily go slightly wider here. A bit wider. And tip of the nose. Actually, I need a little bit of a different brush to make that tip of the nose a little bit. Tip of the nose and also the lip moving up. And it's quite high up with it there. That and shadow right under the nose. Lighter. Clean the brush here. Take some lighter tone of value under the lip, above the lip, and softly merging that dark point that I've done here on the nose with a shadow under the nose here. Again, don't forget it's a contra light. We're working against the light here. So the portrait has a darker tone of value. It has to, because it's against the light, contra light. So softer tone of value there. Now, let's go back on this side. Upper eyelid, right there, upper eyelid goes to the tear duct, upper tear duct and upper eyelid. So we have that. And light of the white of the eye, pupil and iris first of all, and then pupil. Light it on the eyelid and get rid of this because that's quite harsh. Soft. 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 Again, you've noticed that using brush, that's a very ordinary brush, doesn't need even a brand, any brand will do, as long as it is pointed. Those darks here, hairline. Actually, that feels quite wider than what I've done here. So from one end of the ear to that, you do this. So that is from the eye to the chin, it's that opening of the hair here. Pretty much the same as that is. So from the chin to the eyelid, face. That needs to go way wider. Wow. So wider than that. Much wider. And especially on this side, on the left hand side, my left. So that is where it needs to be, but this needs to go a bit wider, much wider. There we are. And a little bit wider here as well, so widen that area. Alright. And a darker tone value on the neck too. So a bit of dust and spread it on here. Soft the tone value. And here. And, coming back to the eye. It's right wider than the nose actually. So I could keep it where it is at the moment. Work on the iris, work on the tear duct a little bit more, but keep it very, very, very soft. Again, almost no lines because it's under the shadow, and this eyebrow actually it's lower. The eyebrow goes right there, the eyebrow goes so lower than what I have it at the moment, and thicker. Bit of shadow here. Bring that shadow back. And a little bit more of a darker line. That turn of her flick of her hair, as you see. So emphasize that because this is from that side of the light. So the light comes from the left hand side. Hairline. It's all much softer than what I'm doing actually at the moment here. So with the brush you can soften everything. bit lighter. Well. I mean, it's a lot to be done still, but we're getting somewhere with the lightness. And a little bit darker all around here. Quite soft lines. Then you have neck and some shadows from the hair on the neck. Those are two very, very soft, but they have to be. And that creates that jawline. And let's pinpoint the side of the mouth, which is right under the eye, and above the lip, so right under the eye, and above the lip, above that lip there. Okay, and then you have this also very, very soft with the charcoal here, and a little bit lighter. Clean up the brush, lift up some light here with this. It's impossible to do it because I think it's just overloaded with charcoal. Fingers then. Just use your fingers. Patirama could be destructive there. Can quite easily take or lift a lot of charcoal. Softly merge it in. Soft lines. Okay, very soft. Alright, okay. A little bit darker here. Actually quite darker here. So all on the whole face, the major darks are here. All that area there. Got a bit over there with those darks, but you know the answer. You can come back, soften it with your pen, with your brush, and Patirama. Now the eyes are actually, especially this eye, is quite large. It goes right up there, right at the edge of the face. So I can bring the eye here. Pupil. Darker eyebrow. come back and do a little bit of nose. And with my brush, soften that area. Darker and then lighter. So yes, those darks, but then light at the same time. Because you cannot let that as dark as I've done it previously. And bring back some of those darks right here. That's also a little bit too dark. Bring it back, soften with a brush. Okay, a little bit better. And this hair needs to be emphasized here. That was too dark. Soften that a little bit more. And then get that area a lot darker. Oh. Under that dark shadow. Maybe bring back some tear duct here if I'm losing it. The tear duct, I mean. Okay, now you have a little bit more shadow here. And some shadow, some dark lines. Here. And the ear could come as far as, well, it's not necessarily to bring it wider, but I think it will make the face look more normal by just by expanding a little bit of the ear. Normal. What I mean by that is just make her look more like, let's call her Anna. More like Anna. Don't know the name of the girl. I'm just making it up. So a bit of highlight. Okay, now bring some white of the eye, but just if you notice, I've touched my little finger here and then I stabilize my hand there. This is how I get that stable hand. I place in my finger to the end of drawing there. A bit of highlight on the eye. Well, that was lighter than I intended, but nevertheless, it's good. Highlight here. A bit wider. So making her actually a little bit more rounded. Ah, that's a bit too much though. Yeah, okay. Maybe not as rounded as that, but somewhere there. I think that line here just disrupts that roundness. So let's get rid of that. And then let's bring back some soft hair line there. Because you've got the sunlight lighting up that side. So you can get away with that soft hair there. You don't need anything stronger than that. That's good enough. And some highlight here. And bringing that brightness of the white of the eye a little bit, enlarge that a little bit more. Lighter, and some reflected light there. Okay, and pinpoint that light of her lower lip. There. That's a little bit light here, so lose that line and connect it with the neck. Kind of blondish hair and lose that, of course. That's too sharp, too light, too dark actually. And then you bring this hairline further to the left, right there, and disrupt that darkness here. And always come back and darken it if needed. Bit of highlight, and you have the bone structure. Okay, now I think I could easily give it a spray and then come back to this. With a spray so it holds those darks. And then work a bit more on that. Light on the neck. Right here, right here. spray it and then come back and do some more darker tonal values there. Spray, spray, spray. Give it a little break. Alright. After the spray, now there is a bit more space, or I have an opportunity to darken those wherever I feel needs to be darkened a bit more after the spray. So I can come back with those darks here, especially the hair, easily darken that. Also darker onto the forehead, but it's a soft merge of tonal values, and that could be a little bit further up. So this one here, there. Darker. Soft merge again, there. And with the putty, that also it's a bit too dark at the moment, so bring them there, soften, soften, soften. And some highlight here. Some highlight here. And back on the nose. Light here. See, after the spray, it's slightly harder to get those highlights. Okay, now there it's also a bit of a lighter tonal value. Also here too, between the upper lip and the flesh top. And taking the brush, the white watercolor brush, getting some of those darks, charcoal dust, and spreading those darks. Now it might sound a little bit darker than I intended to, but for the time being, I'll compromise with this, we'll let it here. Bring back the charcoal so I can easily leave that for a little bit to see what I can do with it. Do I want it that dark? Well, by making it dark, create more contrast. Charcoal dust, and then here. And that is a bit of, again, charcoal dust here. That creates that shadow between the hair and the eyebrow. I just deleted that, but I think I can bring back some contrast here. Charcoal dust right under the eye. But remember, this is the area where you have the greatest contrast. all this side of the face. Okay, charcoal dust, and can get away with some darks right here. I think that's a bit too strong, so get some dust out, and what's left of the brush can come back here and just create a little bit more contrast. Charcoal dust here. And create more contrast. Now again, it's up to me really and you to decide. Do you want it as dark as that? Could be, could not be. It's up to us. But I think that helps to create more contrast really. Now you don't want that dark there, as dark as that, because it looks a bit like a punch in the face, the nose, and that's not good. But I'll get rid of that. Charcoal dust down here. All right, now it's gone a bit too dark though. Okay, well, we can always come back and get those highlights that we needed, or we had previously. Okay. Bring back some dark here, darker tone of value. Finger work, and bring back also, because that's the part of the cheek where it's more of a plane which moves that way there. So a lighter plane there. A lighter tone of value, and a little bit lighter onto really on the forehead, because I think I went a little bit over the board there with those darks. But partly was trying it, and also went accidentally darker, and I was thinking, okay, well, let's leave it for a while and see, I might like it, a darker tone of value. But it was a little bit too much. I think it's a bit better by brightening it this way. Now, okay, I think we need some mono zero rubber to get some of those darks out, or bring back some of those highlights here. This right under the white of the eye. And that comes actually even onto the eyebrow. That highlight is on the eyebrow. Don't forget, that's the light coming through the hair. Okay. And through that, you can have light coming through hairline, and bring a bit lower the eyebrow there, and also a little bit of that highlight on that side of the eyebrow, on her left eyebrow. And coming back, clean. That is a mono zero rubber. A bit lighter here. Lighter also here. And bring back some of that fleshier lip, lower lip. A little bit of highlight here, which is basically the philtrum. Cross hatching with a rubber. A bit lighter. And you have right under the nose. Right under the nose is where her upper lip starts turning upwards. Maybe that's a bit of a darker patch, but again, it's a decision you have to take. Leave it as dark or make it a bit lighter. Maybe a bit lighter. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, a bit lighter. And also that highlight here. The nose, and then, which we said looks a bit like a punch. And nobody wants that. It was overstated, the darks there. And bring back some of that highlight on the nose and actually on the eye as well, which is clean the brush first, some lighter parts of the brush, putty rubber, mono zero rubber, anyway, it's a rubber. And then a little bit of a highlight on the upper eyelid, that too as well. Let's work a little bit on the eyes as well. Well, let's clean that area a bit more. And that will need a bit of a stronger brush, but I'll try with the putty rubber and get rid of it as much as I can. Bring in some highlights there. And that is under the eye here as well. Right here. Softer tonal values with your putty rubber. And also lighter all this area, especially under the lip. Okay, and bring with mono zero, get some highlights here, but also a bit of a darker, stronger rubber, but couldn't, so I'm continuing with this. So bring some highlights on the nose here, right here. And this as well. And get rid of that line. So the mono zero is a very useful tool. That's what it's called. It's a rubber. It's called mono zero. Very useful because you can actually, it's very strong, and you can pinpoint it where you actually want to for it to work. Now, and get some highlights. Now, back to the eyes. Again, they are in the shadow, so don't want too much attention to the pupil. But on the other hand, you cannot avoid it entirely. Darker tonal value here, because you have cast shadow here. And let's not cut that eyebrow as I've done it here in the middle. I've done it on the purpose to show that obviously you have the highlights, the light coming through here, but maybe not cut it completely like I did. And bit of a strong statement here. I'm going to be too dark, but it's to emphasize the upper eyelid. Reflected light here. It's a little bit too bright though on the nose. Need to keep an eye on that because it's becoming too bright. Maybe there, just leave it there, not more, not any lighter. too dark here as well. It's not meant to go as dark as that. And give it a lighter tone of light here. Keep that soft and merge it with the background. And some highlight here is right here. Gone a little bit raw there. This is when you take and overwork the portrait. You start losing patience, or me at least. In the good sense, meaning that you want it to be finished, but you can see there are things you can improve. And let's put tear duct a bit lower than that. Reflected light, the lower eyelid, end of the eye, the white of the eye, if you like. I'm giving her some actually very clear eyes. And I think she's got kind of hazel eyes from what I see. And softer lines. There, darker there, right there. And a little darker here. Just basically, again, it defines her jaw. Neck. And the collarbone. Which disrupts that shadow area. Bit light on the neck. Okay, get rid of that. A softer line. And I can come back with a little bit of a generous highlights here. Do I need them? Probably not, but it might do good. So coming back on to the same forehead tissue. Do you like the darks? I think it makes it more rounded. Yes, it does. So it's better by emphasizing those highlights here. Dubbing the putty. Not too bright. keep it under a general shadow. Make a bit more smiley also, so it does help. A lighter, finer, thinner eyebrow, that also helps, and it ends up right under the tear duct, the tear duct area here. And maybe that's also a little bit softer and merges with the skin tone, and lighter here too. Between the eyebrows. And lighter that as well. That makes the forehead a bit more rounded, which always helps. Okay. Neck. I've made her neck a lot longer, but I think that does help. A little bit, and a little bit lighter here. Not that line, so soften the line. Bring the upper lip a bit further up. Makes it smilier. That helps too. And highlight on the upper muscles here. And maybe the cheek a little bit lighter. Let's be a bit more generous with the light here. There, lighter. Okie dokie. I think that eye though becomes too dark. Not with a putty, with my hands, sorry, fingers here. Get rid of those darks. There. Okay, I think not a lot more, a little bit more, but not a lot more, because then obviously it's a never-ending process. That is the flesh tone, the highlight of the flesh from the light area. It's again one of my creations, really, in the sense that I've done my own Anna here. You know what I mean? It's a different Anna from the original Anna. Again, I don't know what she's called, but I'm just baptizing her Anna. It's a different person, but it's a portrait. In the term of likeness, it's a different person, but again, there is some resemblance, some. That's the lightest area. That's what the spray does. So when you spray it, it's very hard to get rid of highlights. Sorry, the darks that I put on. So a bit lighter. And soft the tear duct. And a bit more end of the eye because it was not in sight where the eye ends, so bring it back a little bit more. Bit of highlight on the cheek, which is kind of suggests more of a smile. A soft, a very, very soft highlight. It was that dark. I think it was a bit darker than I intended to, but maybe a lighter tonal value here will help. And bring back my mono zero rubber to create a soft turn of her chin. Alright, I think I have enough with it. Let's put some date. What's the date today? 13th of the 7th. So 13th of the 7th. Let's get that date back here. Okay, 13th of the 7th.